So hello guys, it's Man Jose once again, and today in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how we're going to be able to design the bottom plate of the hybrid 3/6-year-old. This component, all these parts that we're going to be designing in this series all come together to simulate. They all come together to develop a body or component that is used in detecting the amount of force or impact of a car crash on a kid that is probably 6 years old. So this is just part of a neck model. So without taking up any of your time explaining all this, let's get started on designing the component. So today our main goal is to design this bottom plate of the hybrid 3/6-year-old. As you can see here, we're going to draw a circle of 2.25, extrude it to a depth of 0.31. Then we're going to create a fillet of 0.12, create a boa at the center with a through hole of 0.375, then the counterboa of 0.625 with a depth of 0.06 as it is shown here. So all the counterboa and the holes will be located on one side, then we shall be creating the fillet on the other side. So without taking up any time, let's get started. Yep. So let's go to Fusion 360, create a new sketch on the top surface. Then I'm going to go to create a circle over 2.25. Enter. I'm going to zoom in. So I'm going to zoom into this. After doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude this by, here it says 0.31. click E on your keyboard, then you're going to put 0.31. so if you look at it from another angle, you'll be able to see that extrusion happening. I'm just going to click on OK. Excuse me, sorry. So I'm going to select the component, press E, then I'm going to say 0.31. You can see, then I'm going to enter and it does that. So the next thing I'm going to do, is I'm going to go to the bottom section, because that is where we want to create this. The bottom part of our component is where we want to put the things. So I'm going to create a boa and these holes on the bottom part of our component. So I'm going to spin it this way around. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to construct an offset plane on the surface. So the offset plane is exactly on the surface. So if you change this value to any value you might be knowing, such as 0.2, you see that our offset plane will be lifted up. So we want it at a distance of 0, such that anything we draw will be drawn on the surface of our component. So I'm going to click on this, then I'm going to right click. When I hover over this, then I'm going to right click and create sketch. So I'm going to spin it the other way around, yes, just to keep my vertical as the red and horizontal as green, as I always like to do it. Then I'm going to create I can create a circle here. I can create a circle depending on whatever I want to start doing first. So I could as well start by creating the boa. So I'm just going to come to solid hole. Maybe it's better we start it this way. solid hole, then we know that our counterboa here is 0.625 with a depth of 0.06. So I'm going to come to counterboa here, hole type counterboa. Then I'm going to select 0.625, which is there. Then 0.06 as the depth. Then we're going to select 0.375 as the width of our hole. Then I'm going to click on OK. So as you guys can see, the hole has been created right there. So after doing that, the next thing we ought to do is we want to create the circle on the top here. So I'm going to, instead of me just coming right here, create another sketch, I'm just going to come here. Since they're all on the same plane, I'm just going to draw them by coming to edit the previous sketch that I already had. So this sends me back in the timeline, which is still fine. I'm going to rotate my circle still. Then I'm going to create a circle of diameter 1.5, where I'm going to be locating this 10 by 32. So create circle of 1.5 in diameter. I'm going to select it, then I'm going to make it a construction. Then I'm going to create a line vertically right here, as you can see. Escape, select it, and create construction. Then where it meets there, I just want to create a point, then fix it. So after I've done that, I'm going to say OK. Then I'm going to select this, then I'm going to come to create circular pattern. Then since the object is already selected, I'm going to select the path where I'm going to put it, which is this, and there are 8 circles, remember, and I'm going to enter. So it positions the points on all the parts I want to put my 8 circles equidistantly, which is a very important thing to note. So after doing this, the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to create holes. So we see this figure here is kind of abnormal based on the dimensions we're using. Since these figures are very big, this represents 10 millimeters, but to take it in millimeters, 10 millimeters in diameter and 32 millimeters of the pitch of the hole of whichever screw we're going to be taking, or we're going to be fitting the screw with whichever screw we're going to be putting. So we're going to take this distance. Maybe let me show you guys what I mean by that. So I'm going to come here to solid hole, then I'm going to be selecting this. All of these holes are going to be selected right there. So after I've selected these holes, I'm just going to select a simple hole. I'm just going to select threaded, because the standard screw holes, that if we're to create a standard screw hole, it's going to give us a challenge, because these screw holes have standard diameters which are going to be very big as compared to the diameters that have been given in that. The diameter that has been given is very big if we're to use it, and probably may not have been in millimeters, because our components look pretty small as compared to the size of the screw hole. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it simple. then any edits will be made on the timeline after the confirmation has been made with the lecturer. So what we're going to do is we're going to come to the hole diameter. We're just going to make it 0.10 instead of the 10, which is so. Are you seeing that 10 is too big and consumes everything? So I'm going to say 0.10. Then the height is fine, since we want it's a through hole and has to go through the whole body, which is fine, and it's already doing that. So you can either increase it the way you want or whatever, just leave it there. So that's still fine. So I'm just going to say okay. Then as you can see, you can just come to the timeline and just drag it and the holes will appear. So after we are done with that, one last thing we're left to do is turn the thing upside down, close all sketches, then let's fillet the edge, the opposite edge. As you can see here, the edge we have been working from, on the opposite edge is where we fillet and put 0.12, a fillet of 0.12. So I'm going to come select this edge. By the way, a point to note when you're doing this is, when you're selecting, do not select a surface, select the edge. You see, when it darkens, that means you've selected the edge. So press F for fillet, then select the edge like this, then 0.12, enter, and we shall be done. Yep. So basically the last thing we can do is modify our appearance. Come here, then I'm just going to choose any color and drag and drop. Boom. So you select the color by just coming to this folder, scroll down, then select paint, click on paint, then come and select either glossy or metal flake or metallic, whichever one you choose. And so we have selected the glossy green, which looks nice. Yep. So that's basically everything I had to say in this video, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it and learned something new, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.